What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be discussing something that is super important to me, something that I struggle with, and I know that a lot of men and women struggle with on a day-to-day basis, and that is hair loss. I looked up some statistics, and it says that 80% of men and 50% of women experience hair loss at some point in their lives. So this is something that is impacting hundreds of millions of people, and if you're watching this, it's most likely affecting you. Either if you start to notice it, or you're completely bald, or somewhere in between. But I know from my personal experience, how it can affect your confidence, can make you self-conscious, and I know that that can trickle down into your professional life, into your romantic life, you socially. So it literally can touch every part of your lives, and that's why it's important that we discuss this, that this topic is discussed, and that more people know about the options and ways to embrace hair loss. You can see up top, I'm still growing my hair in. And in fact, let me show you where I started. So this picture right here, or these pictures, are from October 2021. This was my first time at the dermatologist. And at this point, I had already been bald for years. I'm talking 7, 8 years. I've been shaving my head, just completely bald. And at this is my first time in a dermatologist, so I was just trying something different to try and regrow my hair. And then over here, this is where I am now. So this is my last time at the barber shop, and you can see that a lot of my hair has grown back, and I'm super excited about the progress that I've made. So you can see how far I've come, but there's a lot that happened before the first picture I showed you, and a lot that's happened um, between that point and where I am now, with the current progress that I have in my hair growth. So going back to the beginning, when I first started to notice it, I just tried to conceal it. I think that's maybe most people's initial reaction, is they try to conceal it, maybe try and use, a hair growth shampoo, conditioner, or different oils or something on their hair to try and help it grow. I remember going to talk to my primary care physician, and he completely discouraged me about the whole situation. And I asked him, well, what type of doctor would I see? And he told me a dermatologist, but then he discouraged me from seeing a dermatologist because um, he didn't think that the treatments were effective, and it was more of a risk as far as the side effects than the upside potential of actually growing your hair. So I listened to my primary care physician at that time, and I did not go to a dermatologist. So years went on. I kept trying to conceal it, and a few years later, started. Um, I actually heard about this doctor practicing clinical nutrition and getting some really good results with all different types of illnesses and things that were going on with people within their bodies. So I went to this doctor and basically told them that I've been dealing with hair loss, and I was wondering if there was something I can do in my nutrition that could help me to regrow my hair. He assured me that there was, and he did his different tests and everything to figure out if I where I had deficiencies in my nutrition, and prescribed different supplementation, which I took for probably about a year with no progress. I might not have had any nutrient deficiencies at that time, but it didn't do anything to help regrow my hair. And also throughout this time, like, my mom was trying to help me out, so she would, buy these different hair growth oils and creams, and then the home remedies, like rice water, and putting all these different things on my scalp to try and stimulate growth. I tried it all. I took biotin. I put it on my, broke the little capsules and put the oil on my hair. So I tried it all, and none of it worked. And I just remember one day, um, I just got tired of it, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna shave my head for the next like couple months. I remember like I shave and then I let my hair grow back and it would look crazy, and I would just keep it super low to try and conceal the hair loss. But after a while you have to cut it so low that it really doesn't make sense. I mean, I ended up being completely bald in this area where it's still growing, and I couldn't conceal that. So, and also have some spots in the back that you saw from those pictures, where there was scarring and a lot of hair loss. So it was completely bald there as well. So ended up starting to shave my head for years. I ended up deciding that I wanted to actually go see a dermatologist. And what kind of sparked it is I was already taking my son to the dermatologist, and I was like, I looked up to see whether or not uh, this dermatologist did anything with hair loss, and they seem to have a lot of different options as far as treatments. So I was like, you know what? Let me make an appointment. Went in. So that was the first picture that you saw. So I go in to see the dermatologist, and she diagnoses me with uh, alopecia areata and cicatricial alopecia. So alopecia areata is where where your immune system mistakenly attacks your hair follicles, causing you to have patchy baldness. So this can develop anywhere. It can develop on your scalp, in your beard, in your beard, or wherever you have hair on your body. You can have patchy baldness. And the fortunate thing with alopecia areata is that your hair follicles retain the ability to grow hair. So if you can get your immune system to not attack your follicles, then you can actually start to regrow your hair. Then there is cicatricial alopecia, which is scarring of the scalp or the infected area, and this causes permanent hair loss. So she told me that I had Areata alopecia in the front of my head, and then towards the back where I had some scarring. That was the cicatricial alopecia, and that it would be much harder to grow my hair back there. So it was like some good news and some bad news, and she told me what the treatments would be, which I elected to go with. So the first treatment was to do a topical steroid in the affected areas once daily on my scalp. So I just would apply this cream to my head once a day, and I was good to go. The second part of that initial treatment was to take one Allegra 180 milligrams per day. And she said for some reason that helped to regrow hair, but also it helped to reduce the itchiness and the irritation on my in my scalp, especially now using this cream. So that certainly helps. And then the third part of the initial treatment was to use the ketoconazole shampoo, and I was supposed to use that 2 days a week, um, to shampoo my hair all over, but let it sit on my scalp for 15 minutes and then rinse and follow it up with conditioner. So that is something that I did for a couple of months. So I believe I started that in October, and I did that through um, the end of the year, and this is where I ended up. So it was not a whole lot of progress. It's like I was seeing some new hair follicles. Like I was going in consistently. I could see the new hair follicles, or not new hair follicles, but see like kind of like the holes or little divots where the hair follicles were, and it seems like hair would start to come out of them, but it wasn't a lot of hair growing. So it was very much a slow process at this point. So then at the start of the new year is when she prescribed for me to use men's Rogaine. So And I'm like, Rogaine? You want me to get on Rogaine? So, as it turns out, Rogaine is, I think the medical term is minoxidil. So that actually stimulates blood flow to your hair follicles, and stimulates hair growth. So that was the second part of it, which the first part was kind of beating back the inflammation that I had on my scalp as a result of my immune system um, attacking my hair follicles. So reducing the inflammation that was on my scalp and now stimulating more hair growth. So I began using the Rogaine, was 2 times a day, every day. And this is actually, it wasn't as hard doing this treatment. It wasn't hard. Of course, there are some side effects. She told me about the especially with the topical steroid, which was the first part where it can cause thinning and thinning of the skin. So the skin can become more sensitive. It looks more vascular, and thankfully, I have not had that side effect. But if you're thinking about going down this path of regrowing your hair, you're gonna, I guess this will be more so the traditional way. That is something to strongly consider. So I began using the men's Rogaine, and I did that for a little while. And you can see, I'll put up pictures so you can see how my progress went with the Rogaine. So some more hair started to grow. She was seeing less inflammation in my scalp. I did have a little bit of a setback on the back of my head where the cicatricial alopecia. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but the C alopecia, where that was, and there was scarring. The scarring was getting smaller and smaller. But when I started using the Rogaine, I noticed that it started to expand, and there was actually less hair growing, even in the area around it where I had the alopecia areata. So when I went back in, she advised me not to put Rogaine on that area and just to continue using the topical steroid in that area. And that should be the only thing that I put there, along with the shampoo. So you see the progress with the Rogaine, how that happened, and eventually I hit a plateau. But before even that point, so I was taking the Rogaine. I was just doing the regular Rogaine. I asked her, okay, so can I get the extra strength Rogaine? Because I'm thinking, well, if I do the extra strength, then it'll grow back even faster, right? So, but she ordered actually a lab panel to see if I had any nutrient deficiencies. Because the explanation that she gave me was that if I don't have the necessary nutrients in my bloodstream um, to help with hair growth, then there will be no point of continuing the Rogaine or and let alone doing the extra strength Rogaine. So she ordered the lab panel, and I'll put up the list of things that were on that panel, so you can see it. And when the results came back, the only thing that I was really deficient in was vitamin D. So then I started taking a vitamin D supplement with everything that I was doing. And this is the topical steroid, this is the shampoo, the Allegra, and the men's Rogaine. So now I'm doing 4 different forms of treatment all at one time, and I'm seeing some progress, but I got plateaued. And so we discussed what could be the next step, or if that was it. And it's actually one of the treatments that she had recommended early on, and that was the intralesional Kenalog, which is a steroid, but it's injected just under the skin in the infected areas. So I agreed to try this treatment. She did show me the risks, possible side effects where excuse me, where I did she there were pictures of people who had this treatment, and it was maybe done incorrectly, and there were crater like divots in their head, like huge dents. and she assured me that she never had that happen, and that often is a result of doing too much at one time. So she on me, she performed 10 small injections throughout the infected areas, and I started to see progress again. So my hair started to grow back, and everything was going well. And that is really the last treatment that I've done, or so that's 5 total different forms of treatment that I've done at this point that have got me here. So I've really continued with that. So the last injection that I had was actually June 23rd. So at the time of this recording, that was 4 months ago at this point. So that was 4 months ago. My how I did 4 appointments where I got the injections, and it started off. It was every 2 weeks for the first three, and then after that it was just after a month that I did the final injection. And then the last appointment that I had with her was in August, and she said the inflammation was totally dealt with at that point. Like, I didn't have any inflammation, and that if I wanted to stimulate more hair growth, that I could utilize red light therapy, which you can buy. There's combs, there's hats, there's just other things you put on your head that will put a red light on your scalp, and that is supposed to help to stimulate hair growth. So I did purchase a red light therapy comb, which I've been using for um, actually, I started using that in July because she had recommended that a while, like early on. But those things are expensive. I mean, I'm talking about the comb is like a couple $100, but then the hat or other things that you put on your head are up in the thousands of dollars. So that was something that I didn't want to just jump right into until I saw that there was going to be some progress happening with my hair growth, and that you're supposed to use 3 times a week. That is probably the most difficult treatment thus far, because you're supposed to use it for about 12 minutes 3 times a week. I'm sure it'd be a lot easier if I had like the hat or something else that could just sit on my head, but the comb is like I'm kind of just going through and like putting it over my head and holding it with my hand. So I usually do that while I'm watching TV or something like that. But I've been using that since July, and they say it takes about 6 months to see like significant results doing the red light therapy. But fast forward, back into August, the last appointment that I've had with the dermatologist, she said the another treatment that we could try is PRP, platelet rich plasma. So this is where they actually draw your blood, and they put it in a centrifuge to spin it, and that separates the platelets and plasma from the blood, and the platelets and plasma are taken out, and then they are injected into the affected areas. And what it's supposed to do is stimulate faster healing and hair growth. So the PRP would help to prevent further hair loss. In my situation, actually help to stimulate faster hair growth. Now, this is the only treatment that is not covered by insurance, so that is why I haven't done it yet. But I am thinking, really considering doing this next treatment as well, even if I continue to have progress with more hair growth with what I'm doing. And that is because that could give me a more permanent solution to the hair loss and regrowth that I've actually experienced. So I'm really looking forward to giving that a try. But thus far, for me, it has been a very positive experience. Regrowing my hair, the treatments have not been very hard at all. It hasn't been painful. The most painful one was the intralesional Kenalog injections, and that is minimal pain. It's a little bit of a still like a bit of a pinch with each injection, but it's fine. I walk out of there and I drive home and I'm just fine. I think the very first time I had a little bit of a headache, but really it was not anything major that caused me to do anything different on those days. So, that has been my journey thus far. I'm really excited to continue it. I'm excited to, once I go to do the PRP treatment, excited to share that with you. So, if you've experienced hair loss or anything like that, then let me know what your feelings are on it, how you've dealt with it. How you've maybe embraced it. If this is advice I give to anybody that is experiencing hair loss. Now, whether you want to regrow your hair or just leave it as is, you don't mind being bald or having shorter hair or thinner hair, I would say go to see a dermatologist and find out why. The why is more important than what you decide to do with the appearance of your hair, because I didn't know that I had inflammation on my scalp, and I don't know what other issues that could have caused long term. I mean, I was already had it for years, and it went untreated. So at the very least, if you have something like inflammation that's on your scalp, that is something that you probably want to address, because it's not just good to have inflammation in or on your body just ongoing without it being attended to. So that is what that's advice that I would give you, is to go and see your doctor, go and see a dermatologist, and to figure out what is causing the hair loss, and then you can go from there and make an educated decision on how you would like to proceed. But I know for me, this has been positive, and I hope that in watching this video and listening to everything that I've said, that you feel a bit more encouraged about your own situation as far as your hair loss, and knowing that you have some options and that it can be resolved. So thanks for watching this video. Comment below with your experience with hair loss and different things that you've done, and I will catch you on the next video.